Welcome to the Sausage Tray. This week is going to be a shit show. I just want to go ahead and throw that out there in advance. We are going to dive a little bit into what we talked about last week, where we kind of fell off the wagon on our hype conversation. Choo choo.
Oh, we're bringing that back.
Yeah, we're going to bring that back. We wound up in things that we love that we know are terrible. So this week's topic, things that we love, even though they're terrible. But before we get into all that, my name is Justin. I'm your co-host, and my co-host Josh, and my co-host Eric, and Tiny Screwdriver. We're here this week, talk and hang out with you guys. Real quick, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to our live stream that we did 2 weeks ago. At the time this goes up,
yeah, it goes.
We had a lot of fun, and Eric won the championship.
I forgot the trophy.
He did great at all those games. He forgot his trophy, but it's okay because we're drinking champagne anyway, without brand name.
It's the champagne of beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Again, this is the Sausage Tray. This is our bi-weekly bullshit podcast where things fall off the rail quickly and we don't really care. But hey, it's fun. This does alternate every Friday with Hard at Play, our video game focused podcast that is slightly more structured but still falls off the rails at every possible
We
time.
can't help it.
We can't. We are not great at this, but so good at the same time.
Podcasts aren't supposed to feel like they're professional productions. They're supposed to feel like you're hanging out with a bunch of people that are just talking about stuff.
Sometimes, and that's pretty much the stage we're at. If you fund us, maybe we can be a little bit more professional.
We're not NPR.
Yeah. So, with all that
Welcome
said,
back to the Roommates Gaming Podcast.
you're probably watching this on YouTube, and if you are, that's great. You see where we share it out on Facebook. With that, check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Instagram, Twitter, over on the Facebook. You can listen to our audio versions of all of our podcasts on Google, iTunes, Spotify, Anchor. We're pretty much everywhere.
You little sluts.
Yeah, but make sure you dive in and check out our back catalog. Even if you want to go to listen and put it on mute, not actually listen, that helps us. So we appreciate it.
I don't think you're allowed to actually say that.
Are you promoting bot clicking?
No, I'm promoting human clicking. These are people I'm speaking to, and
Well,
yeah, some of them, yeah. We know which ones aren't. So, ladies and gentlemen, now that we've fallen off the rails already.
There were rails. We started on rails.
Those rails don't do well, and they will take us through the next Monday, where we're gonna have a gameplay video go up again. We took a 2-week hiatus off on that, but we're gonna go back, and the gameplay video actually be a trimmed down version of our live stream seasonal event Winter Olympics that we did 2 weeks ago.
So you can watch me win all over again.
Yeah, and it's condensed down to like an hour or less instead of 3.5 to 4 hours of
The
absolute fun, which was great.
Madness that Saturday was.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Again, things kind of fall apart, but it's fantastic when they do.
It's our shtick. Here at Roommates Gaming, we don't take anything serious.
Nope.
If you watch any of the videos down anywhere, you can go ahead and subscribe, click that bell icon, comment, smash that like button.
If that YouTube algorithm is up to snuff, there should be some of our videos in the recommended.
If that algorithm's up to snuff, they have pushed us so far away.
We're actually underneath. They take our data and dig a hole and throw it down the
direct to recycle bin.
So in an attempt to get us back on rail, in an attempt to actually get some semblance of rails back to this conversation, my YouTube algorithm actually recommended the "How do you do it" video that was apparently 3 years old.
Shit, the Summer Olympics, or what was it, the Sex Olympics?
Yeah, Sex Olympics, whatever it was. I was looking at it 3 years? Jesus. It had 1.8 thousand views.
I actually got a...
What?
It said it had 1.8 thousand views.
Yeah. What? I need to
specifically
check
that video.
One. Well, I kind of, clickbaited the shit out of that title. That is an old video, and it has that many. I haven't been looking at the analytics very much.
We need to share that shit.
It's not a good video. We don't need to share it.
Don't. I'll cut.
Like,
that out.
Don't cut it out.
I don't even know why I recommended that specific video.
Yeah, I am honest. There are videos that I have edited and that we've recorded I do not like.
I actually got a YouTube survey.
Legit hate.
I actually got like a pre-video YouTube survey where it's like, hey, let us ask you some questions. It was a Google Rewards survey where it's like, would this be a good video recommendation for you? Would this be a good video recommendation? And the first one was like a Polygon game of the year, game of the decade kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to say 3 out of 5 on this because I like the topic. I don't like Polygon.
Yeah.
And the very next thing was our fucking video. It's
Real?
Like, would this be a good recommendation for you? And I'm like, hell yeah, 5 out of 5.
Hell yeah.
It might be a little biased, but it's honest.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of neat though.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not connected to the Roommates Gaming YouTube login, so they don't know.
Yeah, I mean, hell yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, exactly. I was pretty proud of it.
Like, yes, more.
So yeah, we fell apart already.
It was because of my cool ass thumbnail on that video.
Yeah, actually, that was a good thumbnail. I'm going to, because like I told you before, when I saw that thumbnail come up of our game of the decade, I'm like, I want to watch this video, and then I clicked it. And I'm like, holy shit, this is awesome. Like, I didn't realize that it was ours. I'm like, I messaged Josh. I'm like, damn well done, you got me. Like, you pulled me right into it.
Josh just channeled the editing gods on that one.
Exactly, it was really good.
I was about to say, drawing the curtains. I also do all the thumbnails too.
So go back and look at our YouTube history and pull up the game of the decade conversation from Hard at Play episode. I don't fucking know. 3,
4.
It's less than 7.
Yep.
It's more than 1 and less than 7.
It's either 3 or 4.
Yeah. So segueing from our channel to things that are really bad that we enjoy.
Perfect segue.
Perfect segue.
Us.
Last week we left you with a little bit of homework impromptu because I got over passionate about something and me and Eric started talking about it, or 2 weeks ago, whatever the fuck.
No one has turned in a single
disco path.
Yeah, where's the essay?
Yeah.
Nobody's turned in essays.
Yeah.
But
I need a 300-page essay about how this is the greatest movie. That's the worst movie.
I think I went and bought it. Like, because we were a couple in at that point anyway. And, yeah, exactly. Because, like I said, I do those Google Opinion Rewards. They give me money, and I'm just like,
that's free money. Why not?
I got $5 to just buy Disco Path. Fuck it. So,
it's Friday night.
It's Friday night. The movie is terrible, but fantastic. He just materializes a knife.
It's Friday night. I think though, speaking of like terrible things that are good that we enjoy, and Disco Path being something that we've all enjoyed. Like, we've all seen that movie here, all 6 of us. The first time I think it was just me and you and like your wife.
And we stumbled across
and we just stumbled across it and we were like, sure. And we watched it, and then like that October we were like, all right, it's time to get together for our annual shitty movie horror movie watch, because sometimes we choose like a good one and then a bad one. I think we watched Nightcrawler, which was a cool suspense thriller.
That's exactly what we watched.
Yeah, I like that movie. And then we watched Disco Path because we had to show everybody. And goddamn, I love that movie. It's so bad, but one of the best parts about it is it starts off in New York, but it is made by French Canadians, and you can tell it so much. And like, even in the New York part, I don't think they hired American actors for that spot.
Nah.
They probably they may have had some like English speaking Canadian people, but some of them do not sound like it. They're like, this is New York in the 70s.
Yep.
And they're supposed to be all like, hey, oh, what's up? This is me. I'm gonna, what's going on? But they're all like,
so bad, French Canadian.
It's so bad. They're like, hey, this is our we have to, find out who murdered this party girl. They've been listening to disco. Like, that, I don't know if you've been to New York, French Canadian man.
They were there in the 70s. You weren't. So, I mean, do you really know what they sounded
but
like?
this movie isn't like made then. This movie was like made in like the 2000s, I think 10 or something.
2013.
2013.
It looks like it was made in 85.
Yeah, and it is so good. But
My favorite part of that is the funeral procession. That is the best scene in any movie ever.
But yeah, like the part that helps make this movie so bad is that it's made by French Canadians. So like it's got really bad like French English accents. And then like halfway through the movie, they go, or I guess like a third of the way through the movie, they're just like, maybe we should not keep it in America. Maybe and they go right back. They go to like French Canadian, so it just goes to French. They just start speaking in French. Like it does a time skip. Makes no sense. So like it just goes to French. So the rest of the movie is like in French, and you're just like, what kind of wild ride am I on?
It's
the best one.
It's so poorly structured, but I remember that because me and you watched it, and like we got everybody else to watch it after Nightcrawler, and I'm not saying the next one is bad, but you guys were like, or there was Cameron. Cameron's like, this reminds me of Tucker and Dale versus Evil, and I'm like, what's that? And you guys are all of you descended on me.
Oh my God, I love
watching this.
That is
and you had a doozy of a day.
I had a doozy of a day. God, that movie is
so good.
It is fantastic. It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. Like it, like looking at the like cover art or whatever, it kind of seems like it'd be like a shitty movie, but I think that's the point.
Yeah, it's the opposite. It's not a bad movie that's accidentally good. It's a really good movie that's being bad on purpose.
Yeah. But it's, oh God, it's so good.
Alan Tudyk is just a fucking gift in every way. That
you guys going, all right, welcome to the Tucker and Dale versus Evil podcast.
This kid drove head first into the wood chipper.
This college kids just keep killing themselves.
I love the cuts for perspective.
Yeah, like
it's Tucker and Dale's perspective is all just cheery and normal, and then the college kids it's all dark and gritty.
Yeah, I love how they change like the edit on the cinematography for each thing. Like the Tucker and Dale's perspective is like shot like a comedy, and then when it switches to the teenagers, the college kids' perspective, it's like shot like a horror film. Mm-hmm. So like the grain and like the overlay is all there, but like and then it like switches back and forth.
All the colors are muted.
Yeah. But like Tucker and Dale is shot like a comedy, so it's got bright colors.
Bright. Everything's bright. There's like light music in the background.
God, that is such a good ass movie.
I just want to watch both of these now.
All right.
You guys aren't leaving for a while.
Y'all just join us. We're going to head downstairs.
There are a certain number of movies that you're allowed to stream on Twitch. And there's like an approved list. I don't know if there's a disapproved list, but I'm pretty sure Disco Path wouldn't be on either one, so it's a morally gray area.
I'm pretty sure the subject matter of Disco Path would lean it to the disapproved list.
I don't know,
because there's nudity. They probably don't let nudity.
I mean, you can stream The Witcher and stuff like that.
I mean, true. I guess that's true.
Nipples.
I guess that's true. Yeah. It's not a lot of nudity. Well, some parts have some weird.
College, like the dorm room, which is just a fucking weird. That's so good.
I wonder if they have like a ratings compliance. Like if it falls under a certain rating, it's allowed no matter what. Or
it's probably like G to PG-13 is probably clear, but R there's probably like a list.
You probably have protective royalties like Disney and things like that.
I was gonna say Disney would like.
No, I'm like no,
there are definitely exceptions, but I assume anything old enough, as long as it falls under a certain rating, it's probably fine.
So
unless it's a Disney
party, guys. Sorry.
Speaking of Disney, this is completely separate, but
it's on topic.
I mean, it is actually on topic, but I posted that a little bit from the upcoming video on Monday today that we're recording this podcast Monday, and it's using Yeah, it's the beginning of the week.
No, it's just you trying to clarify what day today is.
It's not Friday. It's Monday. No, but we
It's Monday, even though this goes up on Friday.
Friday.
So we tell you guys it's Friday and you believe it's Friday.
but the video that is coming out next Monday, yeah, exactly.
We're off the fucking rails.
I posted a little bit from it because normally I like to do a little bit like behind the scenes stuff, and I wanted to post it because like it didn't like actually like, make me teary, but it like tugged a little string on me because I like when like people do compilations or stuff like through a whole time like when I did the Dad at Gaming Death montage, and I made it its own bit. Like it's really special because like it had Dad at Gaming from like when we first started to like when that video came out. And this was similar too. I chose like the starring like art profiles for each of us from different games throughout, and like different things that represent us, like because some of it is skit stuff, some of it's gameplay stuff, and like but I used the Sunny music because the joke goes in with the Sunny thing. But I posted that and I had a problem with it, but that was because it got blocked because of the song. And I was like, but why? Like, I've used other songs for a decent amount of time and they've not gotten blocked. Like my 420 video of the smoke weed every day, it's never been taken down or anything like that. And I was like, why? And then I was like, oh shit, Disney owns FX now.
Yep. No time.
Yeah, I was like, Disney owns FX now. That's probably why. That's because like I used the bag rider song, the Shooting Stars song meme thing. I did a meme for that and used a decent chunk, and they didn't get taken down by the artist or anything like that. But I post 30-second video using what I guess now is owned by Disney.
Yep.
They just shut that shit down, and I was like, that makes sense.
That's bullshit.
Yeah, it's a little
Disney.
Yeah, it was a little bullshit because I'm like, I've used like this length of song stuff on Instagram before, and it's never been a problem. What the hell?
Yep.
But yeah, just a random note.
Nice. So yeah, the excuse me. I don't know where we're at. So the topic of bad things that we really enjoy, like we brought up a couple times, it's spun off of those hilarious times that we'd be like, all right, we want to watch one really bad movie with a really good movie. And really, it was just us hanging out. That's just something that we did as friends.
Since teenagers.
Yes, for a very long time, we've done this. And we haven't done it in a while, but it's because we all got like really, really busy in the last year. So we need to get back to it. But I don't really want to go necessarily down memory road, even though that'll probably happen in one aspect or another.
I mean,
yeah, because I mean,
half story time, half discussion.
We've got a story time episode coming up, and I cannot. Well, we got several story time episodes coming up, and one of my favorites, which all of our friends have heard this before. So if you know us and you're listening to the podcast, you'll have heard it. But I cannot wait to get to Cameron's bachelor weekend. It's one of my favorite things ever, and it's a tale as old as time for me and Eric.
Cameron has to be there because there's literally two perspectives of that account.
Yeah, Cameron has to be here for that one.
we have to get all four of us on it for that, so that way the story can start properly and it can be told properly from both perspectives. As time moves forward through the story.
Might need to get 5 people. We might need to track down that park ranger. Need you to guest speak on this, and you guys can just dwell on that for the next couple months. So without diving into
without further ado,
without diving into other story time issues, Josh, what's something really bad that you enjoy?
Something really bad,
shamefully or shamelessly, whichever.
Okay.
Excuse me for viewers and everybody else if you see me messing with my eye. It hurts like hell for some weird reason. So go ahead, Josh.
we've talked about like True Blood. I don't know why, but I that show, like I think it's because it also had like a little special place in my heart because I stayed up an entire night, skipped work to watch it all. And I love those moments like of hanging out with with people like that, and you make a dumb decision, but you don't care because, well, fuck it, you're having fun.
Yep.
So like, and then like you were saying last week, or last time we did the podcast, like we would get together and like watch the new season or whatever once we like caught up. But I think the thing that I have to like actually pinpoint is I like and hate reality TV show, and it's not like the Real Housewife kind of stuff. Like that stuff is just garbage, and I actually can't watch it. But I really like competition reality shows,
like America's Next Top. Not that one.
I mean, that one's an all right.
America's Got Talent. Is that thing?
MasterChef,
like MasterChef, Kitchen Nightmares, stuff like that. Like the Hell's Kitchen, Masked Singer. Shit.
I watch those tattoo shows. Like
Master Ink and stuff like that. Face Off.
Yeah. Oh God, fucking miss Face Off. It's so good.
But yeah, like all those reality shows, like that they're hella staged. Nothing about them is like completely real. Like I even JT got us started on like the Forged in Fire show. It's one of those reality competitions, but it's about blade smithing, and it's really neat. I like these shows because they have neat premises, but like when you like start pulling layers away, you're like, God, you can tell how like edited these things are, and like how like constructed, and none of this is like truly real. Like eliminations are kind of real, but like how they stage everything and like how they just make drama just cause like this. If we were just doing like a real competition without any cameras on us, it would be pretty like stressful, but it wouldn't go nearly as bad as any of those things at all. Like there's definitely like self-sabotage, or they probably tell someone, hey, maybe, be a little slower this episode or something like that. And I just don't know why. I love that shit. Those reality competition stuff, and then sometimes dating ones. It depends on which ones it is. Like I used to love, what was it, Next on MTV?
I don't think I ever watched it.
It was like 4 guys or 4 girls in a bus. I think it was called Next. It was like,
hang on, four girls in a bus.
I got a different premise from this too.
4 girls in a bus sounds like a video I watched once.
That wasn't MTV. That was the fuzzy channel that you got.
It was like 4 guys or 4 girls on a bus. It would one and there'd be a person that they were trying to date, and like they would have like these intros, and they'd be like, hey, I'm Matt, I love skateboarding, smoking weed, and I'm really sensitive about my feet. And then like like skateboarding, but they would like have these weird, and like some of them be like stupid meathead jocks, and then some of them be like kind of dorky but like cool kind of guys. And the same with the girls. Sometimes they'd be like ditzy, and sometimes they'd be like artsy and stuff like that. But they would meet the guy, and he'd be like, I'm Chuck, and I'm looking for a girl I can hang out with my mom and stuff like that. But how they would start the date, and then if whatever happened on the date they didn't like it, they'd just be like, next. And it could some of it was great.
I do remember
this.
Yes,
because some of the greatest ones were like they stepped off the bus and the girl would be like, next. Yeah, you just like, are you serious? It gets back on the bus and all the guys are like, oh,
God damn,
you suck.
I do. Remember this.
Like those shitty, like fucking like Real World and Road Rules. I loved all that shit growing up. Yep. But if I had to have a guilty pleasure, it would enjoy thing that's obviously not good from an actual standpoint. I mean, stuff's subjective, but no, it's garbage.
Yeah, garbage reality.
Yeah,
TV.
it's definitely like the garbage reality TV show. Like I don't know why, like the competition and like some of the just like the dating ones, I don't know why, but they're just so fun to watch. Like sometimes even the Bachelors and the Bachelorettes are fun to watch because some of those guys are just idiots.
Yep.
And it's just so funny to watch them just fall over on their feet. And like, I even watched like Flavor of Love and stuff like
Oh
that.
my God.
Yeah, I know.
Courtney, my wife, is watching The Bachelorette The Bachelor right now, and she watched The Bachelorette last year, and it's a rather new thing that she's into, but I am just kind of catching it off guard every once in a while because it's not my type of show, but I'm catching it off guard every once in a while. I'm like, man, all these people are stupid. Like they're like remarkably stupid. And
yeah.
it's that same thing. Like this is a train wreck. I cannot look away. I'm invested in your low stance as a person at this point. And
I just can't do it.
reality TV at all.
I can't. Like mostly reality TV, like the cooking ones, like Chopped and Hell's Kitchen or whatever, Master Chef and all those. Like I don't mind those because they're a little bit more honest.
Yeah,
a little bit.
bit.
But like the dating ones, I can't. I can't tolerate people that long.
I can't do the dating ones. I used to do what was the show, like the pop-up video dating show? I can't remember.
Oh shit!
You remember what I'm talking about though?
Oh
yes,
fuck.
I can't remember. What
they'd like go on a date and it'd like a little factoid would pop up, or like it would like have a little thought bubble of like what the guy was thinking.
I actually vaguely remember that.
But I can't remember what the hell.
I can't remember either. And so, help us out.
Let us know in the comments.
I can't remember.
Cheaters, that show was terrible too.
Well, I used to watch Cheaters all the time. That shit was funny, especially like the way they try to catch people professionally. That's fucking dumb. But so we watch reality TV here to a degree. Like I said, I watch Ink Master and I watch Kitchen Nightmares and stuff like that. I think you guys have heard the story, but I got like super into Hell's Kitchen and Kitchen Nightmares for a while, to the point where I've seen all of them, like every episode of every season. And I just started pounding through it on Netflix and YouTube and Amazon Prime because they're structured out between the three things. And I work from home, and my kids, who were 5 and 6 at the time, are playing in the house, just like running up and down the stairs and everything. And they run past my office, and I'm working, but on my TV in my office, just for ambiance, I have Kitchen Nightmares or Hell's Kitchen, one of them. Anyway, Hell's Kitchen, and I hear my youngest son say, I hear my 5-year-old say to the 6-year-old, is like, what's Dad doing? And my 6-year-old goes, oh, he's watching Hell's Kitchen and Kitchen Nightmares. And he waits for a second. He goes, hey, do you want to play Hell's Kitchen or Kitchen Nightmares? And my 5-year-old goes, yeah, it's fucking raw. And I'm sitting in my office just like, I brought that on.
Yeah, I mean, can you really get mad at that one?
I couldn't.
I'm proud of you, buddy.
I was impressed and proud. But it's so funny because it was just something that I had on in the house all the time. And that's where it hit me like I have a problem. I probably need to reel this back a little bit. And even now, like we watch Nailed It, me and the kids do. And whenever my brother's name is Wes, and there's a stagehand in Nailed It who brings out the trophy at the end of the episode and everything, and his name's Wes. And the way they call him is just Wes. They put a weird pronunciation on his name. So now that's what my children do to my brother.
Nice.
Like, Wes.
Nice.
They call him around. Yeah, it's
Uncle Wes.
Uncle Wes. Like
He deserves it.
It's wonderful garbage, and I'm right there with you. I eat it up too.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's like the competition stuff and like the dating stuff. Like I know you guys don't do the dating stuff as much, but
Like I've seen a few of them, but I can't stand those people. I can't do it.
and it's not like all of them. It's not like I religiously watch The Bachelor, Bachelorette, but like sometimes like I'll watch like an episode or two, or like I'll watch like a montage of like some of the guys or girls on YouTube, like just doing really stupid shit.
Yeah.
And I love it. Like it's because it's that train wreck in motion, and you can't look away. You're just like, those words are coming out of your mouth.
Yes.
I think the only one
Those
I've ever
actions are being played in motion in front of a camera. It's probably scripted to a bit, but still,
I
fucking
think,
Christ, it's hilarious.
I think the only one of the dating style ones that I've ever been able to like tolerate for even a little bit was Flavor of Love, just because it's Flavor Flav. I can't take that seriously.
Yeah, that show was not meant to be taken seriously at all.
In any way whatsoever.
I was honestly just watching for Flavor Flav's antics, honestly.
We I don't get much into the dating ones, but as far as like the drama and everything in other shows, like Oxygen used to have a show called Best Ink, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I loved it because the art was 100 times better than the things you see on Ink Master. Not taking it away from anything on the tattoo artist on Ink Master, but there was no drama to it, and I'm like, man, I like the scale of this so much better. Not to mention it was fucking hosted by Pete Wentz, which was awesome. So like I used to watch that one, and then you could tell their ratings were going down because they didn't have that drama factor. Like, you know, there's always a problem. These people don't get along. They're not living in a house together, hating each other. So Best Ink got, I guess, it never technically got canceled. It just never got renewed. And I'm like, well, this is gone now, so I guess I'm watching Ink Master. And it's I could have just walked away and like, all right, this kind of show doesn't exist now, but no, I need that hot garbage in my life. And I mean, I respect the art and everything they do, even though a lot of it probably is coached to a certain degree in a way that you kind of have to expect it to be. But I still like, I really, really enjoy that for some reason. It's just something that clicks with me.
Yeah, like which one were we watching when I was living with you guys in Florida?
Probably Ink Master.
The nice mandala.
No, I think that was Best Ink. Because that was with Pete Wentz. That was like their final season. She was like putting mandalas on
everything. Yeah, like
every person that came in.
Like the person that would sit down and be like, this is what I want. All right. This is a mandala. This is what you're getting. That's not what I asked for.
It's that goddamn dude. Because I moved home in 2014. It's 2020. So I've been back here 6 years. And it was right before, it was like the spring before I moved home that you came down and stayed for a month.
Yeah.
Courtney will still send me messages randomly like, hey, I found some really nice couch pillows. All right, cool. Let me see them. And she'll send me a link. She's like, how about a nice mandala? I'm like, fuck, you got me. She does that shit all the time. We'll be in a store and she'll be like, hey, come here, look at this. I walk over. She's like, it's a nice mandala. I'm like, damn it.
That is great.
It is. Like, it's still something that we do.
Hell yeah.
Like, it's one of those things that's just always stuck. But yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we were down there. We're just watching bad TV.
Yeah, we just watched bad TV the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you do at the beach. But when we live at the beach, it's your day to day. It's just what life is. So
that's what life becomes when you live at the beach. Watching shitty TV.
That's when you go on vacation to the beach. You know, you go out, you play on the beach, you lay in the sand, you come back, you complain about how there's sand everywhere. If you have a pool, you swim in the pool, and you go inside. Like, all right, I'm sunburnt now. Like, you get sunburned and
lobster.
Yes, it's like I want to stay inside for a while. And you just watch TV, and it's all really, really bad, except for the channel where they just play Bob Ross all day, every day. But
we've done that before.
Watch Bob Ross all day?
Yep.
Yeah, we have too. My youngest son discovered that it's on Netflix, and we've seen them all now.
When they
Twitched it, they live streamed.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if it was exactly when it got put on Netflix, but around the time that it ended up on Netflix, we discovered it, and we literally probably spent that entire day just watching Bob Ross episodes.
Oh, man, it's so enjoyable. But that's our little secret. Eric, what's something really bad that you enjoy?
Well,
everything. He's got garbage taste.
Well, the first thing I can think of,
he's not a raccoon.
No, he unironically believes that he's got better taste than everyone. Even though he has the worst taste of everybody.
I've known him for a long time. I mean, I can attest to that.
That he's got the worst taste of everybody, yeah.
No, that he thinks he's got good taste compared to everybody.
No. If I had to,
because we like most of the same things.
Really.
And hate most of the same things.
If I had to choose one thing to start the discussion with, it's something that, as far as I could tell, I'm the only person who unironically likes this thing, and it would probably be. Oh, thank you. Let me just go ahead.
Sure.
This is my job now.
For the audio listeners, we're all getting new beers.
Getting new beers.
But I would probably say, and I doubt either one of you are going to agree with me here. I would probably say one of the really bad things I really like is something called living. I really like life. Like just laying in my bed all day, just kind of enjoying it. Bag of chips, just munching all day, just enjoying life. It's great, and I can't think of a single person that can say that.
Enjoying the idea of being alive, like as the fact that you're existing.
You asked a wholesome question. I was really hoping you'd both just start making fun of me for that one.
No, like,
That's your best friend.
Yeah, a lot of people would be like, I enjoy life. You know, I go out bike riding and I go look at paintings and I see
Eric's just like
and everything.
I just like
I love existing, staying in bed all day,
I like
eating greasy chips.
I like the fact that I'm happy and healthy. Most people would disagree with me. They're neither healthy and neither happy nor healthy.
You got a case of Dr. Pepper beside the bed.
Yeah, I was about to say, I love that he's like happy and healthy, eats nothing but chips and drinks nothing but soda.
I am healthy. I am a healthy person.
Yeah.
I may not eat healthy or exist healthily, but I am healthy nonetheless.
You've got the best BMI out of the rest of the guys in Roommates Gaming.
It's true,
but I think Maddie might be the only one that has you contested for being a best shape.
Maddie might be the only one in the group, in our friend group, or in the Roommates Gaming group at the very least, that I could probably say has a more healthy body than me. But no, that was
a joke.
That was a joke to see if I could.
No one likes living, Eric. We're all ready to die.
That's what I was going for. But no, I would probably say something along the lines of like Doctor Who or something like that. Something like British television in general.
This boy loves some British television.
I love all of it's so good.
Dude, the IT Crowd is one of my favorite shows of all time. It is
like
so good.
there was one time before we lived in the apartment we currently live in. We lived across from it.
Yes.
This was back before my divorce. So my wife was living with us, but she was in college, so she wasn't living with us.
Bomb on you guys.
Spoiler alert.
But
man's free if anyone is.
No, don't. I'm good, thank you.
Put the phone number right there.
I'm good, thank you. But no, so she was at school, and Josh had.
I was gone.
He was gone. He was either in Florida or he was at his parents for like something, or they were all gone on like a family vacation or something. But I had like the house to myself for like an almost solid week. Josh came home. I had all of the furniture rearranged in the living room. So, and the living room is the exact same as it is in the apartment we have. It's just everything's mirrored.
Yeah.
Right. So we had this. I don't know what you call it, but it's like the chase of a sectional couch. I had the chase moved into the center of the room, right in front of the TV, and my comforter from my bed. No, it was a blanket we had. It was just this big like comfy blanket, just wrapped around it like in a big nest, and just snacks and drinks sitting next to me, so I didn't have to get up. Just watching a bit of Fry and Laurie.
Yeah, I come home to this man.
Just watching British stand-ups or British skit comedy.
Seeing that he's moved the furniture around in our living room, trash, just surrounded in trash and snacks and drinks. And I'm like, Eric, what the hell are you doing? He's like, watching TV. I'm nesting. Don't make fun of me. I'm nesting. No one was home. It's been like 3 days. No one was home. It's been
peaceful.
No one's been home, so I decided to nest. I was like, all right, what are you watching? I sat down and watched. I watched some a bit of Hugh and Laurie with a little bit of Fry and Laurie.
Yeah. Joey, I'm friends. Just take your own fork out. All right, what do we have?
I love like British comedy specifically, but like I still like stuff like Doctor Who and like British sci-fi. Just like that like 90s era British TV is so good.
For like Faulty Towers and a bit of Fry and Laurie and Spaced and all that good stuff. Yeah.
It's all Monty so Python. Good. Yeah. Oh, Monty Python's perfect.
I've literally got a drawer full of Monty Python DVDs. Just because it's fucking wonderful. I'm waiting for my kids to get the age where I can just like force them in the Holy Grail and all this other thing. But
oh god, the Holy Grail is so good.
Like even just the
Life
TV,
of Brian is great too. But
the TV show is some of their best material too.
It is because it's just there's no continuity. It's just them fucking around.
And now for something completely different.
Yes, yes.
But I also like those kind of like half-assed. Like they're not bad, but you can tell they were definitely just trying to get it out as quickly as possible without having to cover all of the details. But the anime adaptations of manga, I love the like not so good ones a lot of times. Like I'm currently watching, like before we left here, I was finishing up an episode that I had started before I got out of bed of an anime. It's called, what was the stupid fucking regional name that it had that I told you?
I have no idea.
It's so fucking weird. Blood Blockade Battlefront.
Something like that.
Yeah. Its original name is Kekai Sensen. But it's just this dumb little like science fantasy kind of thing where like New York or the island of Manhattan gets the conjunction of the spheres happens on the island of Manhattan. So like there are now monsters and demons and shit existing there along with humans. And it's just about a secret organization that tries to like more or less keep the balance there. And I just happened to see a couple clips. Yeah. Yeah, that's perfect. It's Hellboy.
And The Witcher.
Yeah. but it's just this little cheesy like thing that like just watching it, not even ever being exposed to the manga, just watching, I'm like, I'm definitely missing some stuff from the manga here, but not in a way that ruins it. Like, like it gives me just enough detail that I can understand the parts I missed or the parts they didn't tell me about. And it was like, this is a nice little 12 episode, just little adventure. I like this. This is great.
So in saying that there's stuff in the manga that you can tell you're missing, is it like choppy the way they do the episodes? Or?
Yes and no. There are parts of it where you can tell it was a purposeful decision to make the animation look that way, to make it actually look like they just cut to the next panel. And then there are moments where, like in the first episode, the main character is weaponless the entire episode until it was important for him to be holding a pistol.
As makes sense.
And in the manga, and I actually later went and looked for scans of the manga just because I was curious about some details. And the first chapter of the manga, they have a page or two where they actually go and talk to a character, and this character gives the main character a gun and lets him know, hey, this won't do much, but it'll get the job done. And he's supposed to have that pistol from that point on. Or at least in that episode. After that, it goes away because it's not something like it's not part of his kit. It's just something that was useful for the plot at that point. But in the manga or in the anime, he only has that pistol for a scene.
Like, where'd he get a pistol? Mm-hmm.
Oh,
he got it from somewhere.
Where'd he get a knife? It's Friday night.
Exactly. It's Friday night.
But then there are other parts. But then there are other parts where you can definitely tell it was like a purposeful decision to make the animation look like that, where a character will be like laying down on the ground and someone will say something, and instead of like making like a quick like blur animation of him like getting up quickly, they just cut to the next animation of him standing up, and it's supposed to kind of look like just cutting to the next panel or something like that.
Yeah.
Save some time, but it still looked all right.
I'll say another thing that it probably, like, there's a lot of people who enjoy it. So like, I mean, a lot of people enjoy all of these things we talk about. But I really like the Arrowverse shows.
Oh, those are really good.
They suck.
They
are not really that good.
The Flash is the best one, and it's still cheesy.
Yeah, it Flash is the best one, and it's still not that great.
Nope.
but fuck, do we enjoy watching that shit?
They're
Like,
so good.
I think one of our favorites to watch is Legends of Tomorrow, because that one's the most cheesy.
It's so bad.
It is
like I say, it's right up my alley because I love cheesy sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like Back to the Future, Doctor Who, they're so good.
But like, there's something about it. Just we fucking love watching that shit. But like I said, a bunch of people like it. A bunch of people like watch it and follow it, and but there's just something about it that like you can watch it and go, man, this is awesome. Man, this is also not that good.
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, man, I love watching this. I love watching The Flash. I can't wait to know what happens next.
I'm
Look
having
at us jankiness shit.
I'm having a really hard time. We've been trying to watch Gotham, and I'm having a really hard time convincing myself that I like it enough to go on to the next episode.
You haven't even tried to attempt that
I'm
one.
like 5 episodes in, and I'm like, Courtney, she'll be like, yeah, let's watch one tonight. I'm like, I don't know.
I've seen a couple episodes of the first season, and then I've seen clips of later seasons, and I would absolutely love that show if they had tried their hardest not to build in like all of the Batman lore.
Yeah.
Like if they had just left it, this takes place while Bruce is a child, and there's some Batman stuff happening. But in the later seasons, when they start trying really hard to build up the Batman lore in it, it's just real bad.
That was one of my biggest problems, like watching it and like some of the like knowing some of the like villains and stuff that show up. Like to me, as a huge Batman fan, I'm like, a lot of these people don't become villains until Batman's a thing, because that's the
like,
point of Batman.
I don't
they
mind
show up because of Batman.
I don't mind it for the continuity so much. I mind it because of how poorly it's executed most of the time. Like the best one is probably the Penguin. I don't remember his actual name.
Oswald Cobblepot.
Yeah, they don't.
But see, that's fine because he's like also a gangster.
Yeah.
But like
that's why that one's the
like,
best handled.
But
because,
like Freeze and Scarecrow and
they
like,
make no sense.
Like and the Riddler, some of those people don't start fucking around until they have Batman as an adversary.
Yeah. Or until they get locked up in Arkham for smaller stuff, and then that causes their origin story.
Like people like Zaz would be fine because he's just a murderer, or like Cobblepot, because at his roots he's just a crime lord.
I'd honestly be okay with Hush over some of the people they put in there, because Hush would at least fit better into that story than most of the people.
We finally watched Joker one night, and then immediately after that watched The Killing Joke. And it was like the next day we decided, hey, let's start Gotham. And spoiler alert for those who haven't seen Joker, and it's been out for a while now. There's a certain scene about the death of a certain person and his spouse that occurs at some point in the continuity of the Joker. And at the very beginning of Gotham, like, you're introduced to Jim Gordon, and he goes to work a case where Thomas Wayne and his wife have just been shot. And it's like, I put out a tweet and I'm like, Warner Brothers, when you're going to make the Batman, can you recap what happened to Thomas and Martha Wayne? Because I'm kind of fuzzy on the details here.
I mean, I don't really feel like they need to recap, because I mean, it's pretty easy. Martha and her son get shot and die, and Thomas becomes Batman, right?
That's Flashpoint.
That's Flashpoint.
What's Flashpoint?
The good one. No.
That's a hard stance.
I want to see Josh's face there. No, I think it's funny how
actually in Flashpoint, Bruce dies and Martha becomes Joker and Thomas becomes Batman.
Yeah.
I think it's funny how all of them pull that direct panel of the pearls falling. No matter what movie you look at, they all have.
They love killing Bruce's parents, man.
They do,
they
man.
got Warner Brothers has a hard on for killing his parents.
You got to make sure everyone knows Bruce's motivation.
Yep, it's.
I think I know by this point in time.
Are you sure? What if it changes?
See,
Batman came out in like the 40s, so I think I know by now.
That's one of the reasons why I think if you look at not Far From Home, but Homecoming with Spider-Man.
You're gonna skip over the fact that
like Peter opens his mouth to talk about his origin story to Tony Stark was in Civil War, and Tony's like, we don't need to listen to this. Like, that's perfect, because you just glance over people know this. They don't heard this shit.
You don't need to see Ben get shot again.
Exactly. Yeah, like we don't need another carjacking or move over, old man. Or
we know how he becomes Spider-Man.
Yes, the details are there.
His uncle gets bit by a radioactive spider. It makes him go crazy. He tries to kill Peter. Yep. Peter's forced to kill his uncle, and then that causes him to become a superhero with his own chemically created web slingers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He knows it by heart.
We need to have some like one-on-one time with Eric.
Well, that's why he's called Spider-Man, because his origins are always from his trauma, and his trauma started with a spider, right?
Exactly. And there's actually like there's a couple of comic panels where he's like in a cave with spiders like swinging around him.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and the spider cave. You know, heard about that?
spider
The
cave, yeah.
spider mobile.
Yeah, spider bike.
The spider bike.
That's
yeah.
actually a thing.
Yeah, it's actually a thing.
The spider cave is actually like just clawed into spare brick on the side of a building.
It's a pallet on its side. He just crawls under it.
Yeah.
Big rock.
It's actually in the same nest that you built in your old apartment.
Oh shit! Wait,
Peter,
does that
are you
mean
here?
I'm Spider-Man?
No.
No. Well, before we get your head full with that one.
Anything, you're raccoon boy.
We watched a couple seasons of Arrow, and then we fell off in the second season of Flash. And I don't think we haven't touched any of the other ones.
I think we fell off of it.
Season
because
1 of Supergirl is bad.
Yeah.
Like hands down shitty.
Season 1 of Supergirl feels like a Superman movie. I don't know how else to say that, but there really hasn't been a good one. So, but I mean, there hasn't. I mean,
I did not hate Man of Steel.
Same.
I thought it could be a lot better,
But I didn't hate it. Same.
but I didn't hate it. And I think that's because of Henry Cavill.
I liked it because of Henry Cavill. Everything else about it was awful. Other than taking a slightly more gritty perspective on Superman, I think he could use a little bit more grit. But no, season 1 of Supergirl was real bad. But Arrow, we watched at least 2 seasons.
We made it until like season 5 or whatever.
Yeah, but we fell off of it not because we stopped liking it, just because it has a really bad habit of recycling plot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while, we just started going, we know what's going to happen.
When in doubt, Deathstroke.
Yeah.
I think we started at season 3 and went until, what are they on?
We fell off when
9 or
we
8?
fell off when they got back into the gimmick of flashing back to the island from the first season.
We stopped on the season where Prometheus is the bad guy.
Yeah.
But like the 2 seasons before that, like had like the same kind of premise. Like, so like during
Somebody wanting revenge on Oliver for his past.
in that same season, we're like in that season, we're like kill me now, please. This is like, I'm pretty sure we've already seen this season, right? Now there's just more annoying characters.
Now, that being said, The Flash, which we have all gone on record saying is the best one, does pretty much the exact same thing, but they at least have way more interesting origins for their villains most of the time. It's not just some guy who's mad at Oliver for killing his father or family or lover or something like that, and now is trying to get back at him by killing his family.
See, the thing about those shows that makes it difficult for me, and it's a hard formula for them to not fall into. I cannot stand monster or villain of the week shows. I can't fucking stand them.
Well, as a fan of Doctor Who, I can't agree with you on that one.
I hate that formula so much. I understand that it works for a lot of different mediums, but I can't do it, man. I can't get held up on something where it's like I need the consistency of a flowing story. Where as funny as that is, because Justified is one of my favorite shows.
That's a good show.
It's one of my favorite shows of all time. But you look at the first season of that show, that's exactly what it is.
Yep.
It's a criminal of the week show.
Yep.
Until they find their footing on setting up Raylan's backstory and that whole town and everything.
You know what's funny?
It goes great.
I watched that show up until they started setting up a hard plot line for it.
when they set up a hard plot line, I'm like, all right, I'm all in, and I just binge watch the hell out of the rest of it.
I haven't seen a single episode after that.
I watched because I started it after I started Justified as the final season was about to start. So as the 5th and final season was about to start. And I watched seasons 1 through 4 in like a week and a half, something like that. And then I didn't watch 5. Like, it was available. I could have gone into it, but I purposely didn't watch 5 because in my mind, I'm like, Raylan's gonna die, and it was like a Schrodinger's cat situation at that point.
If you don't watch it, he won't
if
die.
I don't watch it, he's not dead. He also is dead, but I don't know for sure. So as long as I refrain from this, Raylan is safe.
Yeah, that show actually is what introduced me to Timothy Olyphant.
Yeah,
and I don't know if he's done anything before that, but
are you fucking around right now?
I really don't know.
He was Hitman.
Was that before Justified?
He was the original Hitman.
I remember that movie coming out after I saw Justified.
No, he was in Deadwood.
I never saw Deadwood.
He was in Live Free or Die Hard.
He was the villain. Did that? I remember Justified being a lot older than it is apparently.
Yeah, nah, man, Justified's like actually fairly new. Like it's in the last.
Because I remember that being the first thing I saw him in.
Yeah,
and then all those other things happened.
Yeah. Justified. The entire show took place in the last 10 years.
but yeah, that introduced me to him, and he's like one of my favorite actors now.
He's fantastic. Yeah,
like he gets typecast hard, but
Clarita Diet or whatever.
Santa Clarita Diet,
yeah,
which is unfortunately canceled, and we could actually follow that up on bad things that we enjoy because the show is
that's all right because iZombie's better.
iZombie is fucking terrible.
Two different premises. But yes, iZombie is bad, but it's so good.
Yeah, it's so bad.
It's Rahul Kohli. That's what it is.
Yes.
I mean, it's also Rose McIver.
Yeah, but it's Rahul Kohli.
Yeah, it's so bad, but fuck, is it good? I love
so
watching
great.
iZombie. I was gonna back to CW shows.
CW has a lot of really bad, just good shows.
The Flash, it's probably like you said, you really only seen like the first season. That one has a very bad monster. I mean,
of the week,
they all have like a monster of the week, but usually starting from like season 2 and on,
they have like a formula.
They have a formula of like the villain of the week is because of the main villain doing something.
They'll have a seasonal villain, and then they'll have their traditional monster of the week the last 3 or 4 episodes.
But like, no, that's and every episode is a monster of a new villain they fight. Like the first season, like they don't get to, Eobard being exposed until like the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
But this whole time, Eobard has been manipulating things. But like season 2 is Zoom. And Zoom is setting in motion things. And then the next one is Savitar.
Yeah.
And everybody that Savitar sets up and that Dr. Chemist, whatever his name is, the villain that you think is
Alchemist.
The main villain that you think is actually the villain isn't the villain. He's been setting up stuff. So like they still have the monster of the week, but like starting from like season 2 and on, it's not just like, oh, these metahumans are acting up because they have powers. And of course they would be acting up. People with powers would most likely become villains. Like, I'm not going to lie.
Somebody promoted them to be in that position.
I'm not going to lie. If I had powers, I would most likely do villainous things. Like, I need money.
And in the Savitar season, technically they added a little bit of extra flavor on it because the Flash was responsible for all of that because that was when he created the Flashpoint in the TV series.
Yeah, and then the next season is the Thinker, and all of the villains are in the Thinker are all set. The Thinker sets everything in motion. Like he puts the villains where he needs them to be because of story, he needs to absorb their abilities. But like, I get the monster of the week because sometimes you want a consistent story, but like at least from season 2 and on, they kind of like have a big overarching problem that they're trying to solve, but then it's like monster of the week until they finally figure it. In each episode they kind of like get closer and closer to solving the puzzle, but there just so happens to be a villain that they have to defeat.
I think that's one of the reasons why like the Daredevil and Punisher series clicked with me so well is because they hit those formulas really well of exploring that character, but they're looking into that full story. They don't go into a monster or villain of the week like with those formulas, right? And there are like mini arcs in the Daredevil and mini arcs in Punisher that they take a couple episodes. It's not like this week we're fighting this guy, this week we're fighting this guy. Like when you watch Daredevil, there is a force at work that he is trying to go against, and he starts out with those street gangs trying to figure out, or those street clubs trying to figure out where, like, who put these people up to this, who put these people up to this, and up to, what is it, like the second or third episode when you finally meet Wilson Fisk, and which is hands down like Vincent D'Onofrio's scene as Wilson Fisk in that art gallery.
He is the hitman for me now. Hitman? Hang on a minute.
He is the kingpin.
I don't know why I said hitman.
Yeah,
I was thinking bald white man.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of those. He is Mr. Clean for Eric.
He has to be. If Marvel wants to do anything else with Kingpin, they better ask fucking Vincent to do it, because he is
like
so good.
The one scene in that art gallery where the woman walks up to him and says, you know, how does this painting make you feel? It makes me feel sad. Like that whole simple scene, I'm like, this motherfucker is a genius. Like,
that scene paired right next to the scene where he's slamming the dude's head in his car door.
Yes.
I think that happens in the same episode.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. Those two scenes are perfect. And those two scenes are responsible for me going,
they're adjacent.
Kingpin.
They're adjacent. Because the art gallery scene is at the very end of the episode that it's in. You see him for like the last 3 minutes of the episode, and you only see him from behind up until she walks next to him and starts talking to him about that piece, the snow rabbit or rabbit in a snowstorm or whatever it is. And then that episode ends. And then the very next episode is when he's just fucking demolishing somebody. And he captures like being a person in that position from the moment that you see him.
Yeah, he's real good. Like if you've seen him on whichever Law and Order
Criminal Intent.
In, Criminal Intent. He's that exact same way. Like he is that character.
Yeah,
he's one of the best actors I've ever seen.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
Yeah, and it's the same thing when we watched Punisher and stuff like that. It doesn't put you into Punisher has it a little bit when he's picking off individual people that had something to do with his history, but it doesn't put you into a full-on villain of the week. And that's one of the reasons I liked it, because you got invested in that character, in the other characters from the world, and it kept flowing really
definitely have to agree, like that, because they don't have that formula.
Yeah,
they have their own formula. Those Netflix series had like their own formula, but like because they don't use the DC's TV shows formula, like fucking Law and Order, kind of like criminal villain of the week. Yeah. Since they don't use that formula, it did help them make that series better, because they could just focus on the character that it was about, not trying to like, oh, we could pull in other Daredevil villains for him to fight, like some of the minor ones. But what they did was kind of like nod to them, like the Gladiator and like Stiltman and stuff like that. They were kind of just like little homages places.
Yeah.
Where really the main villain of that first season was Kingpin.
Yeah.
And that's the only villain he fought that whole season.
I really feel like, and I wasn't there, so I don't know, this is just my opinion, but I really feel like part of the reason is they went in not knowing how popular the show was going to be. So they went, let's just have a tight, concise story. We know what we want to do with this specific story. Let's not add anything extra to it. Let's just tell this story, and if it does good, we'll get a season 2 and we can tell more of that story.
I think that's exactly like
I was gonna say. It's probably a decent amount of Disney saying you can't use these characters because we don't know what we want to use them for. You can use just these minor characters because they pertain to his story.
Disney saying exactly what you just said. We know the story we want to tell without adding too much more to it. So let's stick with that, and then if we decide, we want to pepper this in or pepper this in, we will. And I feel like that was kind of the decision that they made with Elektra in that show.
Yeah.
Where I don't think that was like a proactive thought. I feel like that was an afterthought.
Which I mean, honestly, is kind of the same way Marvel handled the MCU from the beginning. Like Iron Man 1 and 2, they were hands-on the entire time those movies were made. And then eventually, like, people like this. They're doing a good job making these. We don't need to rewrite the script every 5 minutes.
Unless they have to.
Like, you know what? Bad idea. We shouldn't have let Benjamin Kingsley be the Mandarin. Maybe we should have thought about that a little bit more.
Yeah, that movie. It's good.
That's a bad.
It's a good.
I'm glad they're rewriting it, but for the Shane Chi movie.
Yeah.
That the
I'm
actual
really interested in
Mandarin
that.
is going to be the villain of that. So that gives me hope. I hope and even in that little after bit thing that they had where the Mandarins or Ben Kingsley's character's in jail and he gets that phone call and it's like, why are you using my fucking name? And it just kind of ends on that. And you're just like, oh,
Yeah.
Oh, see, Disney realized that they may have made a mistake doing that. I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why they did that whole thing. They're like, maybe
let's retcon this at the end of our own movie.
let's retcon it after the end of our own movie. After that movie has already come out, and this is in Thor: The Dark World's little DVD end thing.
Yeah.
Like in the DVD, there's that little, I think 15-minute, 20-minute short where he's in prison and stuff like that. And then at the very end, he gets that phone call. I was like, the fuck you using my name for? I just Disney learned. People were mad when they were like, who the fuck? This isn't the Mandarin. And in the movie, they're like, oh, this isn't the Mandarin.
So I just thought of one more show that I don't know if it'd be considered a guilty pleasure, but I think I might be the only person that's ever actually watched it. But Burn Notice is,
I haven't watched it.
if I had to make a recommendation, you've heard me talk about it before.
You've talked about it before.
If I had to make a recommendation of a show that has no right being as good as it is, it would be Burn Notice. It takes place in Miami, which is already the cheesiest setting you can have it in. And it's essentially, if you took James Bond, made him American, and put him on I'm pretty sure it's a CW show. It might be Fox.
I'm pretty sure it was USA.
No, yeah, it is USA. Yeah, and you put him on a USA weekly serialized TV show. That's what you get with Burn Notice. But it kind of has the criminal of the week formula, but it also kind of does what Flash does, where the season has an overarching mastermind,
Right.
And the main characters just keep getting obstacles thrown at them to try to keep the mastermind going.
I feel like that's a longevity move.
Yeah. But they have another kind of way of doing it where it feels more like a slice of life thing than it does like a monster of the week formula, because they'll show them preparing for stuff ahead of what's actually happening. They'll kind of pepper in just little callbacks and references, and then later in the episode those pay off later and that kind of thing. But it's I think the reason why I like it so much is not even for the main character, but because Bruce Campbell is in the show, and he plays one of the supporting characters who is the best friend of the main character. And well, it's Bruce Campbell. I don't need to say more on that one. but it's essentially a CIA agent who gets burned, and he's basically trapped in Miami. If he leaves Miami, the CIA is on him. And he basically is trying to clear his name because he was framed for what he got burned for.
Yeah.
And he has a dark and sordid past and whatnot. And it's just a fun little kind of Miami, it's almost like that Miami Vice kind of thing, but with a more modern take on it. That, and he drives a fucking sweet 69 Charger.
Well, you said Miami, slice of life. So, I mean, as a Dexter fan,
Slicing life. Slicing life in Miami.
If I had to recommend a bad show that you're gonna love, it would be Burn Notice.
Until season 4, Dexter's a good show.
Season 4 was fantastic until season 5.
Yeah. Until season 5, Dexter was a really good show.
That and Burn Notice does this thing where the main character, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's actually really good. He's one of the things he's good at is accents, and that comes in handy being an agent. But he'll do different accents depending on what he's doing and whatnot. But he'll do kind of a voiceover narration kind of thing throughout every episode. He'll do an opening narration to kind of set up what's happening this episode. Sometimes he'll have voiceovers to explain stuff that would just take too much time to actually do scenes for. Or he'll be in a situation and it'll be kind of like a Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock's voiceover to show his detective mind working. It'll be something like that. It just does a really good job of combining action scenes and slice of life stuff with espionage bond, like 007 kind of things. It's just a real good show that has a bunch of things going for it.
I might have to look into this. I've heard people that do. Like, I've heard people say they watch it and they enjoy it, but I've never actually checked it out myself. Of course, I didn't really know what it was about. So
it's real good.
Too many shows.
There are way too many shows.
Too many of them suck.
Next week we talk about why there are too many shows.
Sure, yeah.
Like Dexter, I remember season 4 ending in Dexter because we were all calling and texting each other.
That was the Trinity, right?
Yeah,
That not only we were watching that.
Yeah,
because I think we started that season off together.
Yeah,
and then because we were watching it as a big group,
we do Sunday poker nights and play poker and watch Dexter.
Yeah, we all started that season together, but for some reason we couldn't watch the finale together. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the finale hit, we were all texting each other what the y'all just watch that shit, yo, what the fuck's happening?
I was on the phone with Joe, and then it was you or somebody was trying to call me. I'm like, I gotta switch over. I don't know. I just saw it too.
I'm talking to Joe right now. It's what the conference call?
We're all freaking the fuck.
How can I do that?
I don't know what happened. I'm trying to process it. What do you mean I gotta wait 9 months?
And then we started the 5th season together, and we just kind of
yeah. We had so many questions, and they were just like, yes, you did.
Yep.
Just drop that shit and run on. And I like how they made an effort for the first 2 episodes to figure out, if he was connected to it, and then they just let her go.
Yep. I think if they killed, because when they had a problem with that, the actress and the production studio or Tiffin and something like that.
She had another show coming up, and they she wanted more money to be in Dexter, and she wanted Showtime to work with her schedule, and she's like, I'm gonna be a lead in this other show, not a supporting actress, so you can just get with my agent or whatever, or you just offer me more money and decide to do it when I do it.
And Showtime was like,
yeah,
hear me out.
She was, I can't remember the other show. She was in a Super Family or something like that.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I think
it got canceled halfway through the first season.
Yeah.
And Showtime's like, we're not going to bring you back.
You did.
You made your choice. She's like, you brought back Harry. He was a ghost for 4 fucking seasons. But no. Yeah, shit. We used to watch that. We watched True Blood. We had a Sons of Anarchy viewing party for a bunch of people were in that one too.
But the shows bring us together, even if they're not good.
Even if they're not good. Sons was good as fuck.
No, I'm not saying so. I'm just saying we've had that relationship in our friend group. Watching a TV show or shows that may not be good, or even movies that are we always we talked about had a shitty movie Halloween kind of movie viewing party, even Duke and
so we had, this isn't a story time episode,
isn't it?
It's not. This is where I'm going to close.
I was about to say that it shouldn't be a story time, being the weird.
This is going to be this was not intended to be my entry for things that are bad that we enjoy, but this is where I'm going to go with it. Unfortunately, you weren't here for this, but I believe it started as a Dexter or something viewing night. And we're like, hey, everybody's coming over to watch this. Let's get some, let's do some scary movies too. So we got Chud and some other really bad ones. And because we had a rental store in town. We just went out and rented a bunch of bad, scary movies. We judged by the box art, whatever looked like shit.
Shit, yep.
And we'd go out and we'd grab a couple and come back and put them in and watch. And so we watched 2 or 3 movies. We always made a lot of food because we didn't know who was going to show up. I think one night we made 10 full pounds of Alfredo. We had different pots. We had one that was full of chicken, one that was full of shrimp, one that was full of crab, and then one just plain Alfredo. And you can come in and get whatever you want. They all had different sauces. And because me and Josh used to cook a lot. I think Tim was there for that one, but we come in, we all watch some scary movies, and we watch whatever the show was that we were going to watch.
Yeah,
and then we don't turn the TV off. It just turns into a little mini party because we're having fun, right? And that's what it usually was. We play poker, hang out, have a couple drinks, whatever the deal was. We all stopped paying attention to the television because we're just hanging out. And that brings me to what wasn't going to be my entry for this, but is now. Dexter came on Showtime, and After Dark on Showtime, it's the bad porn. Like the really, really poorly acted, like
I already like it.
Skinamax show.
Humping the navel.
Poorly acted and porn. I'm already there.
So like it was this really bad whatever it was. Like Women in the Hills or The Hills Have Thighs, whatever the fuck. I can't remember what it was, but it was
The Hills Have Thighs.
I can't remember what it was, but it was like in the middle of the fucking desert, and these two bros stumbled across these weird women that lived out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. And of course, because you're a male that just meets a female for the first time, of course you're just gonna bone for no reason.
Oh, of course,
whatsoever.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So some terrible dialogue later.
I get a bone every time I meet a woman.
Terrible dialogue. Nobody's paying attention. All of a sudden, we all look up, and both the ladies on the screen have bent over. There's a guy behind each girl, and they're both going at it right next to each other, and like keeping their strokes going. High five between them. And we laughed our fucking asses off about that. Just cheek clapping on screen.
Yeah.
And
That's where that comes from.
That's gonna be my entry for this week. It's not something that I've looked into in a long time, and I might need to remedy that. And I suggest all of our viewers over the age of 18, because don't watch us if you're under 18. And if it's legal in your territory, watch bad porn, because it's funny. It's really, really funny.
There's some shitty porn out there.
There have actually been nights where I'll be laying in bed and I'll go to my preferred viewing platform, and like I'll click on a video thinking I'm getting just a regular old video. And then I end up watching the entire 30-minute thing because I can't skip. I can't do it. It's too cheesy.
Yeah.
Stepbrother, what are you doing?
Why is that a thing now? Why is that a thing? Where I told you it's gonna be a shit show, folks. I promised you in the first 10 seconds. But why is that a thing now? Like all the videos that you scroll through on a preferred viewing platform, it's just like stepbrother, stepfather.
I've actually been like concerned that maybe an algorithm is working against me, but if it's happening
for you
or for me, yeah. I mean, not that I have that fetish or anything, but
we let
me backpedal here.
That's the thing. Like the terrible parody and like we composed the story things on HBO and Cinemax and all that. God, they were so fucking good, just funny. They were so bad it was terrible, and those were great. And I might need to make some time to dive back into it. It's a mode of art that I did appreciate.
That's a good thing to end on.
We've hit the climax.
Hey!
We're gonna finish now.
We're also gonna end the podcast.
Oh, it's coming to an end.
We'll see you guys next time.
You can't see our studio here, but we're very proud of the way that we put it together. You might not know this, but we have an open window behind Josh, so all of my neighbors hear this bullshit while we're throwing.
I thought you were talking about like the weird milking station we have underneath us right now.
Nah, man.
I thought he was referring to the casting couch where we actually film the casting couch videos, because we're the guys who film the casting couch videos.
Yeah.
If we were the guys
That's how we
who
make
filmed the casting couch videos, we'd have a lot more money and be doing a lot better work at most of the things that we do.
What are you talking about? We're loaded. This is just a hobby that we like doing.
Nah, man, the casting couch guys are unloaded.
A bunch of loads on that couch.
Yep.
Well, it's nice that we could derail so heavily on the end.
It is, man. Speaking of trains, we are going.
Hey!
Thank you for joining us for the sausage train, ladies.
Hey, he said that it's a sausage train.
Where every other week you can find us falling apart and talking about bullshit. And this will be a fun one to relive and edit and put up on the channel.
Go watch Burn Notice.
That's
If you haven't watched Disco Path, watch it now, cowards.
Yeah, watch Disco Path.
Watch porn.
Watch more porn.
if you made it to the end of this episode, I'm sorry and thank you. We need to get our Patreon published, like getting some traction on there. If you stuck around this long, you might as well pay us because you're invested at this point. But,
money me now.
money me now.
If this video gets 10,000 likes, I'll stream all of Burn Notice.
The Patreon is just gonna start going straight to my Venmo account.
That's for all that bad porn.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. Please check out the edited stream that'll be going up on Monday. Join us next week for Hard at Play when we have no idea what we're talking about yet, but we'll get there. And check us out on YouTube, Facebook, follow all those things, Instagram, Twitter, and the audio that goes up on Anchor, Google, iTunes, all that good stuff. I didn't say this earlier, but I want to say it now. Jump in our Discord. I did forget to say that at the beginning of the show. If you're not in there already, you can find the link down below. Pitch us some topics for things to talk about so we don't do this every week.
Hey, I like this.
Yeah, this is fun. What are you talking about? Everyone loves this, right?
Hopefully I get your topic right because I fucked up last week on Hard at Play. Sorry, buddy. But with all that said, we appreciate you joining us. And again, my name was Justin. This is Eric and Josh. Have a good week. We're out.
Peace.
Hey, what's up? I'm Joshua Shoemate from Roommates Gaming. You should like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content. Check out some of these videos. They're pretty good. I just stand here? Okay, just... Alright, cool. Yeah, I'm good.